Hey, Kristen. This is guitar lesson number 2. I'm gonna teach you some more stuff. I'm gonna try to be a little more direct this time because last time I kind of, talked about other things a lot. But it was good. It was a good introduction, I guess. I'm gonna right now. First of all, check this out. I learned a new trick today. Do you know what steel wool is? It's like that cotton looking thing. Well, it doesn't look like it too much, but it kind of feels like it. But it's made of steel, so it's like little wisps of steel. So what you do is you get some of that, just a tiny little bit, and you rub it on each fret, and then it gets them nice and shiny and lubricant. See, look, I did all of them up to this one right here, and then this one I didn't do. See, you can kind of tell the difference, huh? I did all of these. So yeah, maybe your guitar needs that. Maybe it's been sitting in a basement for a long time, I don't know. So yeah, if you want to try that, if you're patient enough to go between the strings and clean each one. So first of all, let me teach you a trick that I did not teach you last time. Right now my guitar is in tune. I tuned it with the iPod because last time I did not, and that was stupid because I was tuning in the middle of the video. But one thing that you can do is that it may not be in tune perfectly with like an E, which is what the thickest one should be. But one trick that you can do, which is really cool, is whatever this string is, whatever this thickest string is tuned to, what you can do is go on the 5th fret, the one with the dot here. Yours may have a dot on this fret, but just know, get used to the fact that these are the odd frets until you reach this one, which is the 12th, and I'll explain why there's one on the 12th and not the 11th and the 13th, blah 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 later. I'll explain that. But yeah, the 5th fret, what you can do is you put your finger here on the 5th one, and the key of the sound that comes out of the 5th fret on the thickest string is the note that comes out on the 2nd string. So now you see mine is a little messed up, my guitar. I don't know why it's doing this, like it didn't used to do this, but right now it doesn't make the exact right note, but that is a great way of tuning it, and then you can do that down the whole thing. Okay, so on the 2nd to the 3rd, the 3rd to the the 4th. But here's a trick. On the 4th to the 5th, you have to go to the 4th fret. So it goes from the 5th to the 4th, and then on the 5th one to the last one, then it's the 5th again. So the only difference is the 4th to the 6th one. And then you're in tune. So, but yeah, if you want to tune it correctly, because actually if you tune it a bit lower than this, if you tune that down a little bit, it actually makes it a little bit easier to play. So I'm not going to tune my guitar down, but if you want to, just make sure that the note is the chords that you're playing are correct. You can distinguish like a D, if that's correct, as opposed to well, actually that's a chord too, and it sounds good, but yeah, just know what it's supposed to sound like, and you can tune it down a lot, but make sure you do that little trick for tuning it. And it may not be in tune, but it's in tune with itself, which means any chord you play will sound good, no matter what tuning you're in. So anyways, let's get to teaching you a chord, some new chords. I'm going to teach you the G chord, because that is a very important chord. Now there's 2 ways of playing this, but I think I'm going to teach you the official way. My uncle taught me this way, and apparently it's the official way, so I'm going to teach you I'll teach you the unofficial way too, in case, I don't know, maybe your hands aren't big enough to do it that way. But this is the official way. How you start is you do your ring finger on the thickest string, 3rd fret, like that, and then your middle finger on the 2nd fret, 2nd string, and then your pinky right here on the 3rd fret on the thinnest string, and that's it. Okay, so you can play all the strings. Just make sure you're not muting any of these with this hand or whatever. Now, the unofficial way of doing it is putting your middle finger here and your pointer finger on the the middle finger on the 3rd fret thickest string and the pointer finger on the 2nd fret 2nd string. The ring finger on the 2nd to last string 3rd fret, and the pinky right under that, the thinnest string 3rd fret. And you see the only difference between the official way is the way you do it with your hand, the formation with your hand, and also one note is actually different. The difference is that this is not here, the ring finger. So but the thing is that scales work in a funny way where there are certain variations for chords. So the thing is that right there you could play like this and it's the same chord because it has the right notes to consist of it's kind of hard to explain. I'll explain it to you someday. But for right now, just see what works best for you. Maybe this, maybe just taking your pinky out and putting your ring finger here, whatever. Figure out something that works for you. Now the next one, the reason the official way of the G chord is easier in this case is because the C chord, because if you're going from a G to C, it's really easy to do. All you have to do is put these 2 fingers down a string each, so from here to here. So your ring finger goes on the 2nd to thickest string 3rd fret, and your middle finger goes on the 3rd to thickest string 2nd fret, and then you just put your pointer finger on the 2nd to thinnest 1st fret. And this one, actually, I never thought of this, but this might be kind of a stretch for you if your guitar is a really long scale, and if you have smaller-ish fingers, you might kind of end up muting some of them. But try it. This one, the thickest one, does not need to be played. So if this finger touches the thickest one, then that's fine. That's kind of the point. But whatever, you can play the E, but it doesn't sound as good. It sounds better if you either don't play it or just mute it or whatever. Now, what else? I'm going to teach you the F chord. Now the F chord is your worst enemy. I'm sorry, but he's a tough chord to play. It's a tough one. Here's how it works. I'm going to introduce you something right now that is really important, but you may not like it at the beginning if you don't have calloused hands, which, yeah. So, the way it works is you do a bar here, and you can either, what you do is you basically cover all the strings with this finger here. And you see, sometimes it doesn't come out too well. Even for me, because this guitar is kind of hard to play. And sometimes, and the one on the 1st fret here is the hardest to play because it's as if the string was here and you're trying to bend it here. It's going to be a lot harder to bend it there than it is here, to do a bar chord up here. So the one here is the hardest, but it is an F chord and you don't know how to play an F chord. So the way it works is you bar this entire thing. Now don't worry if all the strings don't ring out. See, even for me that one's not ringing out, and then I'm really pushing. But what you have to do is if you remember the E chord, just move it up one basically, and use use that exact same shape, but switch it for your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd thickest, your pinky on the 3rd thickest string 3rd fret, and then your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd thinnest string. And then what you do now is you kind of curve your pointer finger, so it's kind of like to the side like this. can't see it that well. So instead of doing it flat on like this, do it kind of to the side a little bit, so that it's kind of going on this part of your finger here on the side, kind of. And then let me show you the way your hand should be. Hold on. Your hand should be like this. You can try putting your pointer finger in any way, but this is how I do it, with a little bit hanging off the top there. But you can try it like this too. I don't think that'll work too well, but you can try it. But yeah, the back thumb should be like pinching, as if you're pinching with your hand. So you just pinch, and they should all ring out, because basically what you're doing is, when you're just doing one bar, when you're just doing one finger and pinching, you're only getting the force from that one, of your thumb and your pointer. Whereas when you add all of these, then it's a lot easier to anchor this finger onto the bar. So, and then what you want to do is just make sure at least some of the notes are ringing. It's okay if not every single one is, but it's good practice if you can make them all ring. Then G, then C. And so now, as exercise, I guess I just want you to keep switching between those chords, the ones that you've learned. And don't forget the names too, because that's just super important to remember all the names of these chords. So, go from E to F to G to G to C to D to A to F to G to E. Just make up chords. I mean, they don't have to sound good. They individually have to sound good, but they don't have to be in any certain order. Just make sure that you're switching fast enough. You can try the unofficial way, see if it works better, because G to C is a lot easier when you do it this way, but an official G is better to do the D, because you can leave your ring finger on. So then all you have to do is add your pinky and then bring these back up here. So yeah, just practice that. Practice your rhythm as well. Like, instead of just I guess experiment with rhythms. Okay, I was not intending on teaching you this, but I have a couple minutes left. So it's a cool trick. It's kind of hard to get down, especially when you're still getting down the chord switching. But just in case you did master all that and whatnot, and you get it fast enough. Okay, what it is, it has to do with your strumming style. Here, I guess I could have just turned the camera. What you can do is you lay your palm, this part of your palm here, on the very beginning of the strings, just the very, very beginning, and see, that kind of makes a little muffled sound. And it may not seem like it's that cool, but it kind of gives a cool effect. Not really be out there, and if you're kind of playing behind a band or whatever, and then what you can do is kind of, but yeah, a big part of guitar playing and rhythm is just using your palm to sometimes mute it, because sometimes you don't want, sometimes you want. So yeah, just experiment with that and all that and see what happens. So yeah, just switch between chords, work around rhythms, and yeah, build up your calluses, and you should be good. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.